The Lost World of Jurassic Park is a movie that I feel is a step down from the original. And even though this is not the worst film in the series, in my opinion, it's still not great either. Alright, so the main story to this movie takes place a few years after the original one. In this one, basically, a team of scientists goes to a dinosaur island, if you will, to try to capture some species. I have to say, while this film's not the worst, it's still pretty bad. Or I guess you could say decent. Dr. Ian Malcolm goes on this expedition where he comes across dinosaurs a second time, who was played by Jeff Goldblum. I think Jeff Goldblum is a good actor for what he is, and he does an okay job here, but it's nothing spectacular. And I kind of feel like this movie is really missing the presence of the original cast that survived at the end of the first movie. And this one, you really don't get that. You don't get any kind of awesomeness. And I can't stand that black kid that's in this movie. She is annoying as hell. It's just bad. Usually I don't have a problem with child actors, but this one, she's terrible, to say the least. This movie is clearly lacking a sense of adventure, if you will, like the original movie. And this, it just do things from point A to point B all the way to roll credits. And I kind of feel like without the nostalgia of the first film, this film suffers for it. This is not a classic. It's not something you can enjoy. This movie is a disappointment. And I kind of felt like, even though this movie is not the worst album, in my opinion, it's still pretty bad for what it is. You also have Julia Moore and Vince Vaughn in here, and they do an okay job for what they had to work with, but nothing special here. There are no interesting conflicts here, no interesting resolutions, and certainly nothing that helps tie the story up in a nice bow like the first movie did. If you haven't seen this movie, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a diehard fan of the series. Otherwise, I'll just say just skip this one, because it's not worth your time. I'm giving this film a 6 out of 10. Now, I would give it a lower score, but then I thought about Jurassic Park 3, and so I decided to give this movie for what it is. Not the worst movie, like I said, but not great either. This movie could have been a lot better. For one mistake is not bringing the original cast in this film. There's no Dr. Grant or nothing like that like it was in the first movie. I think that was a mistake. Maybe those two actors, I'm not going to name them here, but maybe they were busy and they couldn't be bothered to do this one, but nonetheless, film suffers for it. There's nothing positive I have to say about this. Maybe the only positive I have to say is that the visuals look good for a movie that came out over 20 years ago. But other than that, this movie is nothing special at the end of the day. Like I said before, if you're really a fan of the series, you can check it out if you want. But my suggestion is just to skip this one, just go on to part 3, I guess. But that's just me. This film, mixed reactions, but whether you love or hate this film, at least it was commercially successful. And that's my review of The Lost World Jurassic Park. Leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think about this film. Do you hate it? Do you love it? Are you in between? For me, this movie's not horrible as I guess some people would make it out to believe, but not as great as the original one. The original one was in a class by itself. This one is kind of mediocre, if not a little bit worse than that. Now, certainly, if they did better with the stories, this movie could have been better. You know, the acting's okay, but nothing legendary here, nothing memorable. nothing to remember like for a long time for this movie. Alright, up next is my review of Jurassic Part 3, and I have some interesting things to say about that movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying, peace out.